You know that friend who watches all your stories but never posts anything themselves? Well, they're not alone. Research shows that 30 to 40% of social media users are what we call lurkers. They consume content but rarely or never post themselves. Today, we're diving into the fascinating psychology behind why some people choose digital privacy over posting, what it reveals about changing attitudes towards social media, and how this might actually be a sign of higher emotional intelligence. With us is our resident digital behavior expert.
Thanks. And you know what's really interesting about this? According to recent research, this isn't just about being shy or antisocial. These non-posters often have some pretty sophisticated reasons for staying private.
Really? What kind of reasons are we talking about?
Well, according to psychology research, people who avoid posting often show stronger personal boundaries and a higher need for autonomy. They're actually making a conscious choice about how they want to engage with these platforms.
That's fascinating. So it's more about control than fear?
Exactly. And here's something that might surprise you. Recent studies show that these people often have higher levels of cognitive complexity and moral reasoning. They're thinking deeply about the implications of sharing online.
You know, it reminds me a bit of window shopping. You can enjoy looking without feeling the need to buy anything.
That's a great analogy. And speaking of looking versus engaging, did you know that according to recent data, around 82% of internet traffic is now video content?
Wow, that's huge. With all that video content out there, you'd think everyone would want to join in.
You'd think so, but here's where it gets interesting. The FTC recently released a report showing that these platforms are engaging in what they call vast surveillance of users, collecting and monetizing personal information.
So people might be picking up on these privacy concerns?
Absolutely. The research shows that videos contain richer forms of personal information than text or static images. They capture facial features, physical characteristics, voice patterns.
That's actually kind of scary when you think about it.
It is. And here's something that might make you think. Videos are actually retained better by viewers. People remember 95% of a message when they watch it in video form, compared to only 10% when reading text.
So our video footprint could be much more memorable and permanent than we realize?
Exactly. And you know what's funny? It reminds me of that scene in Austin Powers where Dr. Evil demands $1 million and everyone laughs because inflation has made that amount seem tiny. Our perception of what's worth sharing online has similarly evolved.
Ha, that's a great parallel. But let's talk about generations for a moment. Are younger people more likely to post videos?
Actually, there's a surprising trend here. Recent data shows that Gen Z adults spend less time on social media than young adults did 5 years ago.
Wait, what? That seems counterintuitive.
Right? The research shows that Gen Z is actually more mindful about their social media use. They're more likely to use platforms like YouTube and TikTok for consumption rather than creation.
So they're watching but not necessarily posting.
Correct. And according to civic science data, they're less digitally addicted than their counterparts from 5 years ago.
That's fascinating. What about privacy concerns? Are they more aware of those?
The data suggests they are. The IFRE reports that many users aren't fully aware of privacy risks in oversharing, but younger generations are becoming more conscious of these issues.
What kind of risks are we talking about specifically?
Well, according to the FTC report, these platforms can track everything from your viewing habits to your location, and they can retain this data indefinitely.
That's pretty concerning.
It is. And what's more, this data isn't just sitting there, it's being actively used for targeted advertising and sometimes shared with third parties.
So in a way, choosing not to post videos could be seen as a form of digital self-defense?
Exactly. And research shows that people with clear boundaries know where they end and others begin. They're more selective about what parts of their lives others can access.
That makes a lot of sense.
And here's something interesting. Studies show that these private individuals often rely less on external validation. They draw self-esteem from personal values and close relationships rather than likes and comments.
That sounds healthier, honestly.
It can be. The research indicates that strong boundaries actually reduce stress and limit social comparison.
But isn't there also value in sharing and connecting through video?
Absolutely. It's not about completely avoiding social media. It's about making conscious choices about what and how much to share.
Right, it's not all or nothing.
Exactly. And the data shows that users spend 88% more time on websites that feature video content. So clearly, video is engaging and valuable when used appropriately.
So it's about finding the right balance for you?
Yes, and that balance might look different for everyone. Some people might choose to be complete observers, while others might share selectively.
What about the future? Do you see this trend of digital privacy continuing?
The data suggests it will. With increasing awareness of data collection and privacy issues, more people are likely to become selective about their online presence.
That's really interesting.
And you know what's particularly fascinating? This trend might actually lead to more authentic online interactions as people become more intentional about what they share.
Can you explain that a bit more?
Well, when people are more conscious about their online presence, they tend to share what truly matters rather than posting for the sake of posting.
That makes a lot of sense.
And research shows that this more intentional approach often leads to better mental health outcomes and more meaningful online connections.
So maybe those lurkers are onto something?
They might be. The data certainly suggests that being selective about social media sharing isn't a sign of social anxiety or disconnection. It might actually indicate higher emotional intelligence.
That's fascinating.
And remember, even as non-posters, these users are still engaging with content. They're just choosing to do so on their own terms.
Like our window shopping analogy from earlier.
Exactly. They're participating in the digital world just in a way that feels more comfortable and authentic to them.
So as we wrap up, what's the main takeaway here?
I think the key message is that choosing not to post videos isn't about being antisocial or technophobic. It's often a thoughtful choice that reflects strong personal boundaries and emotional intelligence.
And it might actually be a sign of a healthy relationship with social media?
Exactly. The research consistently shows that being selective about what we share online can lead to better mental health outcomes and more authentic connections.
Well, that's certainly given me a new perspective on my non-posting friends.
And remember, just like Dr. Evil's $1 million, what seems like standard behavior today might look very different in the future.
That's a perfect way to end. Thanks for joining us on Copilot Podcasts, where we've learned